Okay.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
like what?
No, just hold on. Thank you, Olushola, for joining, and thank you, David, on Ohio. You're in Ohio, in the United States, while Olushola is in Lagos, Nigeria. Well, we're looking at Nigeria's journey since independence, 54 years, and we've started counting the 55th year. So much has happened from where we're coming from, where we've reached, and where we want to go to. But then, let me come to you now, Olushola. You were actually making a statement, but then I think you can just start that all over again. Good afternoon, first and foremost, and thank you for joining the Hangout.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, like I said earlier on, that there should be fair play among the politicians. The federal government has a lot to do. The judiciary has a lot to do also. There should be proper judgment for cases regarding corruption and everything bordering Nigeria. So I think that's what I just see for now, and I know we can do better.
Okay, of course, so many speeches. You know, we've always been hearing speeches, Independence Day speeches, New Year's Day speeches. You know, how convincing do you think the president was in his last broadcast? Olushola, are you there, Olushola? All right, Dave. Let me come to you, David. I think Olushola is struggling with his internet. What's your take exactly? 54 years gone.
Um, thank you for having me. I actually 54 years. It's quite a long time. Um, we started from the great people, Awo, Zik, and Saldana, and we had a little military interruption in the middle. We fought a civil war, and we came back to civil rule. So, all these things have happened, and we are still as one nation, which is a good thing. Um, since, well, my own take, I'm going to be looking at it from when we returned to civil rule because, I don't like counting the military days. It wasn't because those a good number of those years, especially the Abacha regime, was like the dark years of this country, of Nigeria. Um, so from civil rule, we first had an Obasanjo who talked about privatization, and he brought in the GSM. And under his tenure, we also had um, the clearing of our foreign debt. I heard that the economy, he did a lot in that respect. So he tried he tried his best, and since he was the first, all the second person needed to do was to build on that. He handed over to Yaradua. Yaradua's tenure was quite short, you know, before the present president took over. So far, he well, people have been talking about the agri sector do be looking a bit up, and also the railway. They talked about it. I saw some pictures on the new way lines and everything in Lagos and all that, and the rebasing of the GDP, which makes our economy like although you cannot credit it to just his tenure because it's been long since the GDP was rebased. So, well, my take is that we are moving, we are building, but my problem with it is that the pace is quite slow. Um, a government by now in 54 years, by now we should not still be talking about these basic things like power supply, water, road network. By now, those things should be a thing of the past in 54 years. Those basic things should be a thing of the past. Those shouldn't be things that we should be hearing during campaigns again. So, um, that's a minus to me. That's a minus. Any serious government should tackle those basic things where at least there's stable light, there's running water, there's good road network around the whole country, and then you can now start talking about economy, building and every economy. And I noticed that we started with, I think it was Obasanjo's tenure where he brought in the EFCC. So he was making some strides when it comes to tackling corruption. Although these days in newspapers, when you hear about some things that are happening right now, you think that when when it comes to corruption, we've been taken aback because we now see more people um, escaping, or more public people just acting with impunity. The other day, a judge was beaten in a state, which is not a good, which is not a good stuff in news in any way.
Yeah.
And unemployment is still like rising, although they said they've tackled. I think he made a mistake. I heard a speech where he said that he had reduced it by 50%. I want to think that's a slip of the tongue because
No, he didn't say he reduced the unemployment. He said he reduced extreme hunger.
hunger, oh,
Yeah, yeah,
by 50%.
yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So, but well, that's how I feel. I think we are moving, we are growing, but the pace is super slow.
All right. Olushola, let me come to you now. Speaking of which, David made mention of the dark days. He said he doesn't want to put the military regime into perspective, but don't you think what's your take on that? Let me just put it that way. What's your take on the military? They've also played a role. They were also at one point, particular time, leading this country. How do you think they did?
I think the military, most of the problem we've had in this country has been caused by the military ever since the coup and every other thing that's happened then. But now you have the Boko Haram issue that is going on, and the military have lost lots of lives, we have lost lots of soldiers there. And concerning this sentencing them over the mutiny issue that is going on, I think the military should just try, and there should be fair sentencing on all of them. Shouldn't sentence them to death. They can just maybe they can use some years in prison and maybe leave them alone. That's what I feel should be done. And the military needs to be, it needs to be reorganized. They need to do things professionally. I think that's what the role of the military has to do. The military has to help its citizens. They need to really work with us, and for them to be able to give us good security, secure the nation, and build the nation also, because they are part of the political system also. So I think that's what the military needs to do, and they need to be true to us, give us the right information. Well, let us know what's going on. Not that we keep hearing different. We hear this story from this angle. We hear from another story from this angle. There should be a proper. The truth should be told. We don't need to be lied to anymore. Like, we've come a long way, and even if things have happened in the past and Nigerians have forgotten about what has happened in the past that the military has done, okay, now we're saying, okay, let's start on a new phase now. Let's move on the right path. So I think that's what they need to do, and not start trying to be on the part of one side to to fight one another. I think they need to help us develop the nation at the same time. That's why I feel the role of the military needs to be done. They need to observe law and order. Look at what happened in Lagos, the BRT situation that happened. that they burnt buses. I don't think we'll hear about any military behave like this in other parts of the world. But they will do that to ordinary citizens. Even if the boss hits one of their colleagues, it doesn't mean they should burn everywhere. They were supposed to just restore law and order there. And maybe arrest anyone they're supposed to arrest, not start burning buses, causing more chaos in the system. So that's all. I feel the military they need to do their job professionally. That's what I feel they need to do.
All right. David, let me come back to you now. If you look at the history, most of the institutions that we have, like the NYSC, the federal government colleges, in fact, all those institutions that were built to foster national unity, so to speak, they were almost put into place by military rulers.
Yeah.
So I think
Well, let us. I want to. When I mentioned the military, it's not. I didn't just paint all of them with a bad brush. It's not all. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about like the Abacha days. Where people could not even gather. All those things were prohibited. The military style of ruling was, as in, is not the best for any country, because this leadership stuff has to do with you leading people and getting feedback from the you know the community. It's not a one-way thing. That's why the military looked a bit forceful when they were doing things, because it's their way or the highway. Like you rightly said, most NYSC, a good number of institutions that still stand right now in Nigeria were actually ideas of the military. In fact, the constitution we use, you know, it's kind of an update from what the military put down. So they built institutions. They understood the fact that they needed to build institutions. But the grounds people had with them was their mode of doing things. They were forceful. There were a lot of extrajudicial killings, all those things. Those are minuses when you come to the military era. Unlike this time now, as in this period, this period, hardly are they building institutions. As in, what Chief Awolowo, for example, stood for then, what he did back in the days, as is still being felt in the southwest till date. People are still following such legacy because of things he put on ground. These days, I don't know, maybe Obasanjo, the GSM, everybody's walking around with a phone right now. But apart from him, what other thing has any of these people put on ground that years to come we can hold on to it, that this is what this person achieved? That's why when Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the president of Nigeria, was contesting and he talked about tackling power, everybody believed that once that part is done, that's something we can hold on to for a lifetime. We can say that during Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's period, power was, but now he's almost towards the tail end of his first tenure. If he's going to run, he has never said he's going to run again, but he's almost towards the tail end, and we are just still talking about giving more money to bail out people that, I don't know. I feel most of these things he should have started a long time ago. As in, he had 4 years. This is towards the end of the his fourth year, and I think most developments that are happening in his tenure are happening in the last 12 months, and which is not which is not too good. That's why it's too slow.
okay. Olusola, do you agree with David on that?
But yeah, I agree with it, because I think the power concerning the power sector, it started a bit late, and they've not taken off. They've increased tariffs. The increased tariffs. Even some houses don't still have the electronic meter that we're talking about in they don't have it, and the people just receive all sorts of bills, and there's nothing you can do about it. So the lawlessness in this country is just too much. The power sector needs to be overhauled. Things need to be done right, and concern. I don't really know. I'm not a power person, but at least I know if you can give if you can give Nigerians light, you have solved a lot of our problems. People will do it, more entrepreneurs will come, people will do their businesses right, people can live right.
Yeah.
As in security also, it will work for our security, because if there's light, there's no street light. Even in your house there's no light outside. So what are we saying? There's a lot of problem. I don't know what they have to do to the power sector, but I think they can. There should be something that could be done, because we have experts in it. All the people in PHCN that bought this company, they are experts. They can't just say they don't know about it and they bought these distribution companies. They know about it. That's why they are there. So they should be able to do something. Invest this money in it. Build more power lines. Yeah, generate more power. And I don't think distribution is the problem. I think it's generation, to generate the power. That's the major problem, because we have distribution companies already. So, and I think they've done a lot of work in distributing power to everywhere in Nigeria, but generating enough power to be able to sustain the country, that's the problem.
So, okay. Yeah, so we're almost wrapping up, but just from now on, where do you see us going?
From now,
Yeah.
wow. I don't I can't say, sometimes we want to lose hope, but we can't just lose hope like that. We just need to be we need to be steadfast and keep praying for the country, and we as individuals, we need to do our own quota, what we can do to help the country. We need lots of youths participation in the government now. They need to go into politics, stand for the right thing, and I know we are going somewhere. We're going somewhere better, but it might just take a while, because if Goodluck Jonathan can't do it, then I think someone else should be able to do it better. That's my own.
All right. Thank you, Lusola. David, what's your own projection? How optimistic are you?
Um, well, with what we've been saying, you would hear that, or you would believe or see that we've not been stagnant. We've been moving forward, but the pace has been a bit slow.
Slow.
Yeah, so left to me, um, like Olushola said, really, once that power part is tackled, a lot of things will be faster, because power is instrumental to a lot of things. Even the woman that sells pure water on the street, needs power for her refrigerator to cool those sachet of water before she's able to sell, sell it to people. So from now on, everything about, as in the projection, my projection is that we are going to move forward. We are going to build on what is existent. Although, well, the insurgency and other things is trying to take us some steps backwards, but I know that we will overcome this hurdle and move forward. I don't know. This 2015 election is kind of heating up the whole policy, and everything seems so uncertain. People are threatening fire and brimstone, and I think I think I think politicians should just calm down and let the the country move forward. They should put country first before political ambitions, because it's actually the country that makes them to be able to have such ambitions. That's my take.
All right. So we have someone, but we really can't see him. Paul Mickelson, if you can hear us, good afternoon, and thank you for joining the hangout. Paul? Oh, we can't hear you, Paul. Okay, he's even up. So we're just wrapping up now, Olushola. Just in few words, just say your last words before we come to David, and then we close. Olushola, are you there? Hello, Olushola. All right, Dave, what's your last word? I think
Okay, my last word is just
Hello?
for. Okay, Olusha.
Okay. Yeah, Olushola, can you hear us now?
Okay, can you hear you?
Yeah, so we're trying to get your last thoughts. I mean, just before we wrap up this conversation.
But my last words will just be, come 2015, let us vote for the right person. I'm not going to vote for Goodluck Jonathan. I'm going to go vote for the APC because I believe there's change. So I think we need a change in government. It's not about hatred or anything, but let there be change. If you can't do the job, let's put someone else in there. If someone else gets there and he can't do it, let's impeach him. That's what we should do. Let our votes count. We don't know sentiments, no anything. If someone comes in, if he can't do the job, take him out. It's like that in every other developed democracy. That's what we need to do. And I pray for Nigeria. I pray come 2015, everybody will vote right and there'll be a peaceful election and there won't be any problem of rigging or violence or anything like anything of that such. So that's just what I would say to wrap this up. And God bless Nigeria.
Amen. Olushola. All right,
Amen.
David, what about you? Your last words.
Yeah, my last word. I just want to implore all Nigerians, young people like myself, to always put Nigeria first. Think nationalistic. Be nationalistic in your thoughts, and not ethnic all these ethnic division, like the way the politicians have tried to make it seem. We should be nationalistic. We should look for we should think of people that are going to build the country when we are making decisions. I won't go ahead and say that I'm going to vote for APC, although I don't think I'm also going to vote for a Jonathan if I have the opportunity to. APC has not come out with their candidate yet, so let's watch. If it's someone that is acceptable, Nigerians should vote. My own is just don't vote based on sentiment. Vote based on performance. That's all. And yeah, we'll be better for it. We'll be all right. I know Nigeria is going to be great. We're a good set of people, resilient and all that. Happiest people on earth. Yeah.
All right, and happy we shall continue to be by God's grace. I really
Amen.
have to say thank you for joining the Hangout this moment. David Onoha, you're calling from Ohio in the United States of America. And Olushola Oladimeji is also calling from Nigeria's commercial capital, that is Lagos. Thank you very much for joining and sharing your thoughts on what Nigeria is, what Nigeria was, and what Nigeria will be in the recent future. Thank you very much once again. My name is Victor Matthias. You guys can follow us follow the program on Twitter so that you can get updates on what we're doing. I'm going to write the handle.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you too.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay.